A 22-year-old woman named Gabby Petito embarked on a journey across America with her boyfriend, Brian Laundrie, but vanished. Eventually, her remains were discovered in the woods, and shortly thereafter, her boyfriend also disappeared. This narrative has garnered immense public interest. Within a week, over 1 million individuals followed the victim's Instagram account, with users of the platform scrutinizing every move she made prior to her disappearance in an attempt to unravel the mystery of her boyfriend's whereabouts. According to the FBI, nearly 90,000 missing persons cases were actively investigated in the United States at the end of 2020, but only this story became a true information bomb. Its fuse was lit on July 2nd, when 22-year-old New York native Gabby Petito and her 23-year-old boyfriend, Brian Laundrie, set off on a journey across America. It began on the East Coast in Blue Point and was supposed to end several months later on the West Coast. The young couple planned to visit world-famous national parks they wanted to explore. They traveled in a white Ford Transit van they had converted into a mini home on wheels. It became a silent witness to further tragic events and an important piece of evidence. Gabby met Brian at Bayport High School, where they both studied. After starting their relationship, the girl from a large family moved in with her boyfriend and his parents in Florida. A year before their fateful trip, Petito shared with the entire internet that her beloved had proposed to her, and she gladly accepted. Gabrielle couldn't live without social media, and last summer she started posting about the places they visited almost every day. Brian did the same. It was all like with fashionable travel bloggers, cheerful pictures against beautiful landscapes and similar comments. Only Gabby always wrote briefly, unlike Brian, which later proved very useful to armchair investigators of this tragedy. The first problems arose when the police received an anonymous message from a tourist who witnessed a conflict between Petito and Laundrie in Utah. He told the police about a possible act of domestic violence, to which they reacted by arriving at the scene on August 12th. Among the many photo and video evidence of this drama are videos taken that day by police body cameras, where they interrogate the young people. The travelers admitted to a major altercation with physical violence. The girl hit her boyfriend, and he grabbed her face and pushed her. In the footage, Laundrie says that the argument started when he entered the van with dirty feet, while Gabby had just cleaned it. It also became known that in the last days, tensions between them had been escalating visibly. Gabrielle told the officers that she erupted due to her partner's carelessness against her heightened anxiety and obsessive-compulsive disorder. She said it affects her behavior. The fiancé claimed he also suffers from an anxiety disorder, though he behaved differently. In the video, the girl is in tears and occasionally sobs, as reflected in the police report. She constantly rubbed her eyes and nose, breathed heavily, and struggled to find words. Meanwhile, Brian, who had visible scratches, remained calmer and even chuckled. As the young couple spoke of their love and didn't accuse each other, the police simply advised them to spend the night apart. They took the boyfriend to a hotel, while the girl stayed at the campsite. Later, this sparked a wave of dissatisfaction on social media. People argued that the victim wasn't protected from the aggressor. Many assumed that the law enforcement officers sided with the fiancé. One of them noticed on video that he was also married and understood the guy. The last time Petito spoke with her parents was on August 21st. A couple of days later, she and Laundrie checked into a hotel in the capital of Utah. How much longer she lived after that is a mystery. Although on the 26th, another post about the trip appeared on Gabby's Instagram, and on the 27th and 30th, her family received text messages from her phone, but the authorship of these messages raised doubts for the parents. In any case, on September 1st, Laundrie returned to his parents alone and kept quiet. He didn't contact either the police or Petito's family. On September 10th, Gabby's father, Joe Petito, upon learning that Brian had appeared at home, came to the city of Northport and persistently but unsuccessfully tried to find out from him about his daughter's fate. He was so insistent that Brian's parents, fearing for their son, called the police. On September 11th, Petito's parents filed a missing person report for their daughter. They also sought help from the public and stated at a press conference that their daughter had never gone off the grid before. At least 3 times a week we communicated, called, messaged, often spoke on FaceTime, Gabby's mother said. And it was like that throughout the trip. When we didn't hear from her for a couple of days, I initially thought she was out of coverage area. On the 8th or 9th day, I started to worry a lot. On the day of the missing person report, the police visited Brian. They saw a white Ford van at his home, the one he returned in. At that moment, American law enforcement had no substantial reasons to suspect a crime. The girl was simply considered missing, and Brian was considered a person of interest in connection with it. But the attempt of the police to talk to him about his fiancée's fate failed. The family decided to communicate only through their lawyer, Stephen Bertolino. He voiced a statement from Laundrie for the press. This is an incredibly difficult time for both the Petito and the Laundrie family. As far as we know, the search for Miss Petito is ongoing in the Grand Teton National Park area in Wyoming. On behalf of the Laundrie family, we hope the search operation will be successful and Miss Petito will soon be reunited with her family. At the advice of their attorney, the Laundrie family will remain in the background during this period and will not provide any further comments. The lawyer explained that Brian was simply exercising his legal right to remain silent for his own good. He reminded everyone of the famous phrase from American movies, "Anything you say can and will be used against you." According to Bertolino, in such cases, investigators always focus on the missing person's partner, even if they're not involved. All Petito's family could do was plead with Brian to break his silence. They tried to reach out to him in a widely circulated statement on September 14th through the media. Brian claims he wants to stay in the background. While we're searching for Gabby in the depths of Grand Teton and Yellowstone National Parks, Brian left Gabby alone in the wilderness with grizzly bears and wolves while he sits in the comfort of his home. Brian, how could you do this to Gabby? You selfishly keep silent while Gabby is alone in the wild. Brian, your silence is reprehensible. We beg you to make the right decision and help us bring Gabby home. Brian, whatever happened in Wyoming has already happened. But what's happening now, you can still control. Tell us where Gabby is. Your silence tarnishes your love for her. A separate message was addressed to the boyfriend's family. They were also accused of remaining indifferent despite Gabby living with them for over a year and being set to become their son's wife. The girl's family expressed confidence that the Laundrie family was hiding her whereabouts. Gabby's parents held on to hope until the end to see their daughter alive, but on September 19th, her body was found in the campground at Grand Teton Park. Immediately afterward, the police reported her murder, although they didn't disclose the details. It wasn't until October that it became known she had been strangled with her hands and lay there for several weeks. By that time, social media was already buzzing with this story. For example, it was reported that on just one day, September 21st, the hashtag Gabby Petito on TikTok gathered over 650 million views. It was precisely the user army that helped find Gabby. A couple who hosted a travel blog spotted a white Ford Transit van parked on the roadside in their video shot on August 27th. It was near that spot where they found the girl. While some were searching, others were hurling accusations at Brian. "He looks like a scoundrel," was one typical comment about him. Ordinary people started writing that his parents were also lying to the police and called for them to be punished. Protests began outside the Laundrie home with chants of "Where is Gabby?" and "Bring Gabby home." On September 22nd, the FBI finally issued an arrest warrant for the boyfriend. However, he was only charged with unlawfully withdrawing over $1,000 from Gabby's bank card from August 30th to September 1st. But in any case, it was already too late to detain him. Just a few days after Gabby was declared missing, Brian himself disappeared. Later, his parents told the police they had last seen him on September 13th when he went hiking. On October 20th, 2021, the case took an unexpected turn. Brian Laundrie was found with a gunshot wound to the head in a nature reserve in Florida, not far from his parents' home. A month earlier, on September 19th, law enforcement found Gabby's body. According to the examination, Petito was strangled while Laundrie took his own life. On January 21st, 2022, FBI officials made an official statement regarding the Petito case. According to investigators, with a 99.9% probability, Gabby was killed by her fiancé, Brian Laundrie, as no one else had motives to harm the girl. There were no strangers around them, and there was no foreign DNA on the girl's body either. Moreover, all acquaintances and relatives unanimously testified that the young people had been arguing very often lately. The FBI also found the man's personal diary, in which he confessed to what he had done. What exactly was written there was only disclosed to the deceased girl's family, whose relatives have yet to decide whether to disclose this information to the public. The investigation has not identified any other individuals directly involved in the tragic death of Gabby Petito, except for Brian Laundrie, said FBI Special Agent Michael Schneider. Throughout this investigation, the FBI's primary goal was to ensure justice for Gabby and her family. Examination of the diary revealed entries made by Laundrie's hand, in which he takes responsibility for her death. It is reported that the case is now considered closed. Gabby Petito's parents managed to achieve justice. They proved that all suspicions against Laundrie were not in vain. The only thing that saddens is that knowing the killer's name won't bring their beloved daughter back to life, a life that was unjustly cut short at the age of 22. Thank you for watching.